Juan Pablo Montoya has made a claim that could influence the future of the Formula One driver lineup. The former Grand Prix winner and ex-McLaren driver said in an interview that Oscar Piastri and his manager, Mark Webber, are already in contact with another F1 team. This statement comes at an important time, following the end of the 2025 season. Piastri finished third in the championship after leading it for much of the year. The 24-year-old Australian won 7 races in the first half of the season and built a 34-point lead over his teammate, Lando Norris, going into the final part of the calendar. After that point, his season changed direction. A key moment came at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. McLaren asked Piastri to let Norris through during the race. The team explained that this was done to balance earlier strategy decisions, as Norris had lost time during a pit stop after allowing Piastri to stop first. Piastri was clearly disappointed by the call. At the next race in Baku, Piastri said that the Monza situation was still on his mind. He had a difficult weekend, including 2 incidents and a start issue. Similar struggles followed in Austin and Mexico City, where grip conditions made things harder, and he finished 5th in both races. Piastri did not win any of the final 9 races of the season. Over that period, his 34-point lead turned into a 13-point deficit. Max Verstappen passed him in the standings, and Norris went on to win the championship. Piastri finished 3rd overall after a very strong start to the year. Montoya believes these events have led to discussions about Piastri's future. He said that he is confident Piastri and Webber are speaking with another team. He also suggested that Webber is not satisfied with how things have progressed at McLaren, while questioning how Piastri himself feels about the situation. Some observers point to other moments as well. At the Singapore Grand Prix, Norris moved ahead of Piastri at the start, and the team did not step in. Together, these situations created the impression that Norris, who came through McLaren's development system, may have received more support than Piastri. Montoya also focused on Piastri's performance late in the season. He noted that in the final races, when pressure was lower, Piastri's speed returned, and he won again. Montoya suggested that once Piastri stopped worrying about outcomes, his driving improved. This points to mental pressure rather than a lack of pace. Expectations, internal stress, and decision-making may have affected his performance during the title fight. Montoya said the experience would be difficult but valuable. He explained that top drivers must adapt quickly and help guide the team during high-pressure moments. In his view, the second half of the season showed areas where both Piastri and the team need to respond faster when circumstances change. The message is clear. Elite drivers don't just match their teammates' pace, they shape the team's approach around them during high-pressure phases of a championship. They adapt faster when circumstances change. Piastri's collapse, in Montoya's view, exposed weaknesses in both execution and response under pressure. Mark Webber's involvement adds another layer of complexity to this saga. The former Red Bull driver partnered with Sebastian Vettel from 2009 to 2013, nearly winning the championship in 2010 before being relegated to second driver status as the German won 4 consecutive titles. Webber's relationship with the team became increasingly strained, and the tensions between him and Vettel are well documented in Formula One history. He finished his F1 career without a world title, despite driving a dominant Red Bull car that, by many accounts, was biased toward his teammate. Now he manages Piastri, another Australian, who led a championship, only to watch his teammate claim the crown. Montoya expressed serious concern about the parallels. I think they need to be careful and make sure that Webber's scars from his time as a race car driver have nothing to do with Oscar's career, he warned. Is Webber seeing history repeat itself? Does his own painful experience with perceived team favoritism at Red Bull make him hypersensitive to similar patterns at McLaren? Could past trauma be influencing present decisions about Piastri's future? These are legitimate questions that could have massive implications for where the 2 4-year-old races in 2026. McLaren CEO Zak Brown moved quickly to address the speculation. In the immediate aftermath of the final race, with Norris understandably taking center stage as the newly crowned world champion, Brown publicly reinforced the team's long-term faith in Piastri. He described the Australian as a future world champion and promised he would win multiple titles with McLaren. These comments were widely interpreted as an effort to calm internal tensions and reaffirmed McLaren's commitment to its driver pairing. But would Brown feel the need to make such statements if he wasn't concerned about the possibility of losing Piastri? Former Formula One driver and race steward Johnny Herbert added fuel to the speculation by suggesting potential destinations. He acknowledged that he could see Piastri looking to move on from McLaren, given how frustrated he might feel. Herbert mentioned Red Bull Racing as a possibility, though he questioned whether Piastri would want to partner with Max Verstappen. Would he want to go into that environment? Herbert asked. He also referenced Ferrari and Mercedes, though he expressed skepticism about guaranteed championship opportunities at either team. The teams that are in the moment are McLaren and arguably Red Bull, Herbert concluded. Those are the only places where you're probably going to be able to win a world championship. Montoya also mentioned Aston Martin as a team that could be monitoring the situation. The Silverstone-based squad is investing heavily, building state-of-the-art facilities, and won't have Fernando Alonso forever. Could they make a play for Piastri? The speculation continues to build, but certain facts remain undeniable. Piastri is still under contract with McLaren. No official statements have come from the driver or his manager confirming any discussions with rival teams. The offseason always generates driver speculation, and Montoya was speaking to a gambling platform that benefits from engagement-driven content, yet real tensions clearly exist. The series of contentious moments throughout the season, Webber's known history with team politics, Montoya's confident guarantee, and the mental toll of Piastri's championship collapse all point to genuine underlying issues. The 2026 season could look dramatically different depending on how this situation resolves. If Piastri stays, McLaren faces the challenge of managing another potential internal battle between two championship contending drivers. If he leaves, they lose a generational talent who won 7 races in a single season. The pressure is now on McLaren to prove they can manage driver relationships fairly and transparently. The driver market implications extend far beyond just Piastri. If he does move, it would open a seat at McLaren, potentially triggering multiple driver changes across the grid. Everything hinges on one fundamental question that remains unanswered. Is Oscar Piastri genuinely unhappy enough at McLaren to walk away from a championship-winning car? Do you think Piastri should leave McLaren or stay and fight for the title with a proven winning team? At the heart of this debate is a dilemma that defines elite-level sport: security versus self-determination. McLaren currently offers Oscar Piastri something every driver dreams of: a car capable of winning races and championships. Walking away from that is never a trivial decision. History shows that drivers who leave winning teams often underestimate how rare sustained competitiveness truly is in Formula One. Even generational talents have seen their careers stall after making a single mistimed move. However, Formula One is not won on machinery alone. Clear leadership, trust, and internal stability matter just as much. If Piastri feels that McLaren's driver management consistently places him at a strategic disadvantage, frustration can grow quickly. Drivers need to believe that when a title fight emerges, it will be settled on track rather than behind closed doors. Without that confidence, even the fastest car can start to feel like a cage.